Ethical food sales are rocketing. They all suggest somehow the food is just that little bit better. But are they just a big con? Apparently, the supermarkets see us either as foodies or fuelies. Foodies shop according to their conscience. They'll pay more for food they believe is better, while fuelies are driven by value for money. We're told the foodies dominate. They spend around 5.5 billion each year on organic, fair trade and locally reared produce. So the foods with the ethical labels can command top-notch prices, but are they really worth it? Let's start with organic food. What does organic actually mean? Only 4 chemicals are used on organic crops compared to over 400 chemicals for non-organic. That means there are fewer pesticide residues in organic food, but it doesn't mean residue-free. Organic foods are about 66% lower in pesticide residues than non-organic. Genetically modified crops aren't allowed to be called organic at all, so this is all better for wildlife. Organic livestock is drug-free. Animals have more space to live and are only fed on organic feed. Organic hens are all free range, and organic food can't include nutritional nasties like hydrogenated fat, aspartame, or monosodium glutamate. Now that all sounds great, but you might be surprised at what organic does not guarantee. Nearly 30 permitted additives are still allowed in organic foods, and despite what celebrity chefs might think, research shows people can't taste any difference between organic and non-organic food. There's no nutritional benefit to eating organic. Some fruits and vegetables have slightly higher levels of vitamins, but not enough to offer any health benefit. Some organic foods, like eggs, may be more prone to causing food poisoning. Organic eggs are not protected against salmonella. And organic doesn't mean local. The organic ingredients in a typical Sunday roast could travel up to 16,000 air miles to reach the UK. In 2008, the Food Standards Agency made a statement that said, "There is no scientific evidence that organic food is any more nutritious than conventionally produced food." Now there's growing momentum to control how organic food is transported around the world, but I think it's difficult to see how organic really means better for me or the planet. So what about food that's British? The little red tractor is the British Farm Standards logo. It covers food safety, animal welfare, and environmental regulations. The standards are quite broad and fairly basic, though. It's a bit like an MOT for your car. It's roadworthy, but not necessarily tip-top condition. To carry the little red tractor, foods don't need to meet any specific nutritional standards. Livestock doesn't have to be free range. In fact, factory hens and animals kept in barns with no straw for bedding can all carry the logo. The tractor doesn't mean organic. It doesn't mean local. Seems it doesn't really mean very much at all then, does it? And yet it's all over thousands of products we all buy every week. Well, surely fair trade means what it implies. Fair trade is about farmers' welfare. It's designed to help farmers in developing countries get a fair price for their produce. The deal is that farmers have to put some of their profits back into sustainable farming and other social or economic development projects. So farmers get a fair price for their work, and the local community benefits too. Sounds good, but what about the planet? Well, apart from fresh flowers and packaged fruit, all 2,000 fair trade products have to be shipped to the UK. They're not flown, so it's a fairly clean carbon footprint too. Now, there's no nutritional benefit to fair trade. In fact, sometimes, because of the long transport times, some levels of vitamins and minerals can be slightly lower in fair trade fruit and vegetables. And while a lot of fair trade produce happens to be organic, it's not a guarantee. So what's the bottom line then with ethical labels? If you can afford it and it makes you feel good, there's nothing wrong with buying foods with ethical labels. But don't be duped into thinking this will be a passport to a longer, healthier life or a better planet. There's plenty of food out there without any labels which really do deserve superfood status. If you're wondering what I do, I buy the food I think tastes best. Sometimes I go to my local farm shop for meat because I know how the livestock was treated. I want to support my local farmer, and I really do think the meat tastes better. It's allowed to hang longer than meat sold in supermarkets, but it is expensive, so I definitely don't buy all my meat there. I'd always go for local or free range over organic. I have to say I really don't take much notice of the little red tractor, unless I want to look for something that's specifically British. And as for fair trade, I'll buy some, but I think I could probably and should probably buy more. I like fair trade principles. These are tricky times for all of us financially, so I definitely buy basic range fruit and veg. I don't care if my carrots or apples are all the same size. They still taste great, pack a nutritional punch, and they do the job perfectly well. To eat well, you need to look at your diet as a whole, not at individual items. Cook from scratch more often. Eat plenty of fruit and veg, organic or non-organic. Choose whole grains over processed grains, and watch your intake of salt, fat and sugar. Then, whether you're a foodie or a purelie, you'll be doing just fine.